You've probably seen them before. Those big, round animals lounging in rivers, looking like oversized, lazy creatures just enjoying a peaceful life. Behind that calm, floating exterior, hippos hold a dangerous secret. These giants aren't just enormous. They're also among the deadliest animals on the continent. More people are killed by hippos each year than by lions or sharks. But what makes an herbivore like a hippo so dangerous? And how could something so seemingly slow and relaxed become one of the most feared animals in the wild? You know, when most people think about hippos, they picture these big, peaceful blobs just chilling in the water, right? They look so calm, just floating around, minding their own business. You might even think, oh, they're cute, big and goofy. But here's the thing, they're far from harmless. Behind that laid-back appearance is one of Africa's deadliest animals. Surprised? You should be, because these guys aren't just floating around for fun. They're fiercely territorial, and if you get too close, well, you're in for a bad day. In fact, hippos can weigh up to a massive 3,000 kilograms. That's 6,600 pounds of pure muscle. And they aren't slow either. Believe it or not, they can outrun a human, reaching speeds of up to 30 kilometers per hour. So, if one's coming at you, there's no chance you're getting away easily. Oh, and let's not forget their bite. With a bite force of 1,800 pounds per square inch, they could literally snap you in half. That's strong enough to crush bone like it's nothing. And that's not even the scariest part. Each year, they're responsible for around 500 human deaths. Let that sink in. We're talking about an animal that people often think is harmless, but it's actually one of the most dangerous in the world. So, next time you see a hippo looking all relaxed in the water, just remember, it's not as laid back as it seems. Let's uncover why a hippo isn't just strong, but built for sheer destruction. First off, they've got this deceptively bulky barrel-shaped body that's packed with muscle. But here's the surprising part. Despite their massive size, they can actually move with some serious speed, both in and out of the water. In fact, they can stay underwater for up to 5 minutes at a time, and when they charge on land, you'll barely have time to react before they're right on top of you. Now, let's talk about their real weapons, those jaws. A hippo's mouth can open nearly 180 degrees, and inside are some of the most intimidating teeth in the animal kingdom. These aren't just any teeth, they're more like tusks. Their canines and incisors sharpen themselves every time they grind together, making them razor-sharp, always ready for a fight. Their jaws can deliver a crushing force that could snap bones or rip through a crocodile's tough skin. That's one reason crocs tend to steer clear when a hippo's around. But here's something you might not expect. These massive mouths also help them with grazing. Yep, they spend most of the night munching away on grass, up to 40 kilograms a night. It's almost funny to think that an animal that can crush a watermelon without effort spends its evenings just quietly eating grass. Even their skin is an interesting piece of armor. It's thick, about 2 inches in places, and secretes a natural sunscreen that protects them from the harsh African sun. It's actually red in color, which gave rise to the myth that hippos sweat blood. It's not blood, but it definitely gives them a fearsome look. So, when you think about a hippo, don't just think about its size. Think about the sheer combination of speed, strength, and built-in defense mechanisms. It's no wonder they dominate the rivers and land wherever they roam. Let me tell you, these animals don't play around when it comes to protecting their turf. You might think the water belongs to everyone, but in a hippo's mind, it's strictly VIP. And if you get too close to their water, whether you're in a boat, canoe, or just walking by, they'll make sure you know you're not welcome. Hippos are extremely territorial, and trust me, they'll defend their space with all 6,000 pounds of muscle and anger. There have been plenty of real-life incidents where these giants went from zero to full-on rage mode. One of the most famous stories is about a safari guide named Paul Templar. He had a run-in with a hippo that didn't go well at all. The hippo almost swallowed him whole. Can you imagine that? The guy barely made it out alive, but he was left with serious injuries that he'll never forget. Talk about a bad day at work. And it's not just humans they're picking fights with. They don't mind getting into brawls with their own kind. And these fights aren't some light-shoving match. They can be brutal, sometimes ending in death. They've even been known to tip over boats with tourists on them. There's one story where a hippo flipped a boat during an African safari, leading to injuries and, sadly, fatalities. It's a reminder that these animals, while amazing, are incredibly dangerous. What's crazy is that this aggression isn't just limited to water. Even on land, they remain territorial. If they feel threatened or if you're blocking their path back to the water, they'll charge. And you do not want to be on the wrong side of that charge. They're surprisingly fast for their size, and once they start running, good luck trying to outrun them. Hippos might be herbivores, but when it comes to dominance in the wild, they're not to be messed with. You'd think a giant animal that spends most of its time in the water, snacking on grass, would be pretty low-key. But other animals, predators even, tend to give them a lot of space, and for good reason. Let's start with crocodiles. Now, crocodiles are pretty terrifying on their own, huge armored reptiles with a powerful bite. But the thing is, in the presence of hippos, crocs are basically the sidekick in the river. Hippos will charge at them without hesitation, and it's not uncommon to see crocs slinking away to avoid a fight. In some cases, a hippo's jaws are more than enough to fatally wound a croc. So, despite being river neighbors, hippos definitely run the show. Lions, the so-called kings of the jungle, are another story. Lions will sometimes go after young or weak hippos if they get the chance, but those hunts often turn into disasters. If an adult hippo shows up, game over for the lions. They can't handle the sheer power and size of a full-grown hippo. There have been instances where lions are left limping away or worse, never making it out. And then there are hyenas, the opportunists of the animal world. Hyenas are known for being bold and taking on animals much bigger than themselves, but even they know better than to tangle with a hippo. Sure, they might scavenge a carcass if they're lucky, but a face-off with a healthy adult hippo? Not happening. They simply don't have the power to bring down something that big and that dangerous. So, when you look at the animal kingdom, hippos are these unexpected powerhouses. They're not the fastest or the most carnivorous, but their strength, size, and territorial nature make them a force that most predators know better than to challenge directly. Now let's talk about the surprising numbers. You wouldn't expect it, but hippos are responsible for about 500 human deaths each year in Africa. That's right, despite being herbivores, these hefty creatures are among the deadliest animals on the continent. They rank right up there with some of the most dangerous animals in the world. Now, when you think of deadly animals, you probably imagine sharks, lions, or snakes, right? But hippos actually kill more people than lions. Lions, for example, only account for around 100 deaths per year. Crocodiles, which share the waters with hippos, do cause more fatalities, around 1,000 annually, but in some areas, hippos rival even them. And elephants, another massive herbivore, also kill about 500 people a year. But here's the thing, elephant attacks are often more predictable. With hippos, their aggression can catch you completely off guard. They might look lazy and slow, but when they feel threatened or territorial, they can move with terrifying speed and strength. So, while hippos may not be prowling for prey like lions or crocs, their unpredictability and sheer power make them one of the most dangerous animals humans can encounter. So, what's the takeaway here? Hippos, while they might look like big, lazy water cows, are far from harmless. Their enormous size, combined with their surprising speed and intense aggression, makes them one of the most dangerous animals on the planet. They may be herbivores, but their bite force can snap a small boat in half, and they kill more people each year than lions or sharks. Hard to believe, right? The truth is, these creatures are often underestimated, and that's where the danger lies. You might see one lounging in the water and think it's just chilling, but that calm exterior can flip to deadly in an instant. So, next time you hear about a hippo, remember, it's not just fascinating, it's a powerhouse of nature that commands respect. If you ever come across one in the wild, keep your distance and stay cautious.